Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, What the Beck. Today I'm doing another diamond painting video, but you know that because you read the title, like you do for all YouTube videos. But today I'm in a different setting. Wait, before I get into it, look at the puzzle that, oh man, I'll put a picture of the puzzle. That me and my mom did. It's really pretty. It's parrots in the wild in some type of forest, and we had a lot of fun doing it. But sadly, if it's a diamond painting video, you can't see it because you only see this much of the canvas, and so you don't see the desk. But yes, as I said, I'm in a different setting. So I'm at my parents' house for 2 weeks because my job does not start for 2 weeks, and I had to take some time off school after finishing my sophomore year. Yay, I'm halfway through. Can you see my thumbs up? Yay. So, I'm on the same desk that I was on last time I was at my parents' house, but there have been some desk developments, which I'll get into later. But I'm going to start off this video just by explaining. I'm not going to explain what diamond painting is and all that because I did that last time. And if you want to see that, you can watch my diamond painting 1 video up here. So yeah, I'm just going to be talking about some random things that have been going on, and then some other random things that have been going on. So the first thing is, obviously I had to get this to my house somehow, and you might think that diamond paintings are kind of fragile because look at all these little pieces, and the sticky stuff might not be as sticky as you want. So I'm just going to give some tips for traveling with diamond paintings once I pour out my first color. So I think I'm going to do M first, and that's just straight black. And make sure to close my bag so I don't get a catastrophe. Okay, so if you are traveling with a diamond painting, you need to roll it up, and you need to do that with the diamonds on the outside. So like this part would be on the outside, and I have this whole strip done on this side. I rolled this with these all overlapping. Like I rolled it this way instead of this way. That way the most of these would be on the inside of the roll. But yeah, and the reason you do that is because if you don't, then like if you roll the other way, the diamonds can come off of the adhesive, and that's not very fun because then you have to replace all those diamonds, which is not the point of this activity. And you also have to like tie it up, because if you don't tie it up, then it'll come open, and then it has more possibility of getting squished in your other belongings and stuff while you're traveling. And the other thing that I did that you might not have to do if you have like decent enough storage while traveling, but I just carried mine by hand the whole way. So it was either in my lap while we were driving, or it was just on top of other stuff, not packed into a box or anything. And that way it would remain round and not creased. And the creasing is really what makes the diamonds pop off. So you want to avoid that at all costs. And yeah, you can just do that by carrying it yourself or having someone else carry it, throw it up on the dashboard. If you're going on an airplane, I don't have any really good tips for you, mostly because I've only been on a plane twice, I think, and yeah, that's just not my preferred or frequent mode of travel. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the same packing stuff applies, just I don't know if you could hold it on in your lap or work on it during the flight, because obviously there's turbulence and stuff, which means you could drop your diamonds everywhere, and then the airline is going to be like, what the heck? Why did you bring all these little bugs into our plane? And then you'll be like, no, they're not bugs, they're diamonds. Anyway, so yeah, that was how to travel with diamond paintings. And now I'm going to talk about just like a little life update thing, because it's been a while since I did a life update on my channel, and little bits of what's happening in my life kind of like sneak into the rest of my videos, but it's nice to do like a more formal one every now and again. So obviously, as I said, I just finished my second year of college, which is great because that means I'm halfway done, and that means I'm like halfway to being an adult, I guess. I'm like technically an adult by age, but by mind, I don't know about that. But since I finished college, I had to, or not finished, you know what I mean, like for the year, I had to move out of the college dorms, which was some type of event where we just tried to pack everything in like 3 days and then get it all out of there. But luckily we have a new place that we'll be living in year round, which means we won't have to move stuff for next year. I just have a different place off campus, which is fun, but it also means that I should be saving up for a car soon, which I need to learn how to do because I have no reference for how much cars cost. I know they're like several $1,000s, but I also know that houses are several $1,000s, but like more thousands of dollars than cars. But yeah, so that's something that I'll be thinking about and aiming to do, is just like save up for a car. But yeah, we got a place that's not too far away, not like immediately next to the college. So yeah, we live there now. But I am still home for the 2 weeks, and then I have a job lined up at a pet store, which I'm really excited about, because when I applied and I went for my interview, I felt really unprepared, but the questions they asked me were very applicable to the work I already do in the writing center at school. So I was able to use my experience at the writing center to answer their questions, and I did really well, and the interviewer was really chill. People kept coming in to like ask for a break or ask him questions during my interview, which was a little bit weird, but you know, I just had to like sit there and wait it out until it was over. But the interviewer was really chill. They apparently really needed employees, so my 3 friends and I, well, 3 of us total, we all applied, and we all actually got a job at the same pet store, which is great because if our shifts overlap, we can carpool, which is great, especially because I just said I don't have a car yet. But the interviewer said that I seem like a perfect fit, and if any of you have watched my adopting my emotional support animal video with Lewis, a cat, the only reason that she's not on the desk right now is because she's taking a bath on my bed. So you might hear that, but I did a lot of research for that video, and not even just for that video, but I did a lot of research before adopting a cat, and I talked about that in my interview and how I like made a big PowerPoint to explain like what the budget of having a cat is and benefits of having them for mental health reasons and anxiety and all that. But he said that that was a really good skill to have, like the research and synthesis skill. Oh, and here she is. She might jump on the table soon, but the interviewer said that was a good skill to have to work at that store. And I was like, yay, because it's my first people job outside of the college, which is great because a lot of college jobs, they only employ students, and by working at a pet store or like company, then I have the potential to grow in that job, like move up the ladder, I guess you would say, and also you can transfer to other locations. So if I have to move at some point, then I can fall back on that when I'm not doing writing jobs, which is another thing I can talk about. Is like I was going to look for a summer internship, but since I'm just finished being a sophomore, there aren't many that want sophomores, so like they don't have really an opening for me in any writing jobs, but I'm definitely going to be looking for them next year in the summer, because they all want juniors, because they want to like, they want you to not be graduated yet so you can like use it as credits and stuff, because some of them are like unpaid but you get school credit for doing the internship, and I wasn't down for that this summer, but next summer it looks like it might be an option. So yeah. And more about some writing that I did. I wrote a few poems and I submitted them into a competition called Mary Jane Diamond poetry competition, and I actually got second place for my poem Mirror, which I literally wrote in 5 minutes before submitting. But you know, I can get some revision and editing done in 5 minutes, and I actually did do that. I changed it up a little bit before I turned it in, but the poem Mirror is just about, well, like the setting is like when you're about to take a shower and you're in the middle of taking a shower, and how it kind of makes you think about random things because you're doing this autonomous task of just like washing, and how like depending on your experience, body dysphoria or dysmorphia can kind of like break in and make you think about that instead of just something cool like on the Shower Thoughts Reddit. Instead, it's just like negative thoughts. But yeah, that's what mine was about. I got second place in that one, and I actually won third place from submitting one of my older poems to a, it's like my school's, not personal because it's a school, but it's like the school's writing competition where they had like entries for fiction and nonfiction and poetry and something that they called flash fiction, which is essentially fiction but you only have 500 words, and that's basically supposed to get you to only put what's important in the story and not like blabber on for 12 minutes about dragons or something. So I also wrote for that, and I got third place in the poetry section with my poem that's basically just about being a trans person, or how trans people are everywhere and you don't necessarily know who is trans and who's non-binary and all that. If you're new to my channel, I'm non-binary. I use they, them pronouns. And so a lot of the things that I write are about this because I want to spread awareness and teach people, basically. I don't want to yell at people because they get something wrong. I want to teach them how to do it right, you know? So that poem basically describes a bunch of settings where different people overhear things and things happen to them. Just because they're trans, they react a different way. So for example, there's one where someone is walking in public and people are laughing at her because she's wearing a dress, because she's trans, and people are laughing at her because they think she shouldn't be wearing a dress. And then someone across the street looks over and he feels more threatened now because he's also trans, because people are everywhere and you don't know who's trans or who's not just from looking at them. And then at the end it kind of wraps up with my favorite part, which is when you kind of, if you are a cis person, which basically means you're not trans, it kind of describes to you what it's like to be trans, so it like puts you in the perspective of that. And then it kind of gives you a chance to see like, oh, this is what it's really like to be, you know, a trans person, I guess. But I wrote that about a year ago. And I consider it to be an old poem, but I didn't have the newer poems that I submitted to the Mary Jane competition at the time. So I submitted that one, and it's a very long poem. And it actually rhymes, which is more difficult than you think, making a poem that rhymes. But yeah, so that one won third place in the school competition for writing in the poetry division. One other cool thing is that you may have noticed that I uploaded a video about my writing journal, and so I started bringing writing more into my YouTube channel because writing is an art. We're all about art here. But that was actually for a project, and I wrote that in the description of the video, but that was for a project where we had to make a final published object, and even though mine wasn't physical, the video counted as my object. And it was supposed to be like, we learned all about how things are published, the supply chain of like how it gets from creator to consumer and all that stuff. And the class was framed around books, but I was able to do my video as my final project because my professor was cool and subscribed to my channel. Thank you. But yeah, so two students had a project together, and they made a student published works collection called Highly Flammable, and I'll link that in the description so you could check it out if you want. And it's basically just undergraduate works, and they actually printed out a book, and they had an ISBN number for it, and really cool. It was like an official book, and I got published in there a couple times. I think I submitted like 4 pieces of writing, and 3 of them got in, which was cool. And I have the book somewhere. I think it's at the other apartment that we just moved to, but I'm at home now, so I don't have it. But that was cool because we had a reading where students who submitted their work and got they like got into the publication. We had a day where right before finals that we had a day scheduled where we had no classes, so we had reading on reading day as an event, because the day with no classes is called reading day because it's implied that you're going to study for finals, but really everyone just uses it as a break day. But we had reading on reading day, and I got up and read, and my dad visited to see me read, and it was really cool. And I wrote a little story about family and how you have to give people second chances because like to an extent, no matter how horrible someone was, there is still a chance for redemption, but you have to actually give someone that chance. And yeah, it was really cool. I got kind of nervous reading out loud, but a couple of my professors went to that event, so they got to see me read. And yeah, reading, I'm not like scared of reading, but I get really anxious beforehand. Not like for any particular reason except that I have anxiety. But yeah, so I had to do a couple readings, one for that one and one for the school's competition. And it was cool because the professors get to see what I make, because some professors only have me for classes where I write proving things. It's not less of creative writing. And I'm really good at writing papers that prove things, but it's more fun for me to write like fun things, like about weddings and being trans and stuff, I guess. Just writing whatever I feel like needs to be said is kind of a theme that I've got going on. Okay, so I think I've got most of the M's. I can't see very well because my light is so bright. You can probably see them a lot better than I can, but I'm going to put the rest of the 3s away and move on to another, what is it called? Another color. Okay, so I have 2 little baby beads on here because I have like 2 purples on this area, but I'm going to stick those on and grab another one, and now we can talk about, well, they're kind of still life update things, but it's things that we're doing to prepare the new apartment. So basically, I wanted to get a full-size bed because I've been living on a twin bed for my whole life. I am a small person, but being able to spread out and have my cat have some room on the bed would be nice. So I was considering getting a full bed, but the ones on Amazon, while affordable, I just decided it would be better to just keep the bed that I have and bring it over to my apartment rather than keeping it at home. I wouldn't have to buy a new bed, and my dad is building a Murphy bed, which basically unfolds from a wall so that I'll have a place to sleep overnight. And my room is technically the guest room, but if I'm here, it's more personalized. So they're basically gonna personalize my room at the apartment, and then this one will become a guest room where I can stay because I'll be a guest now. But so yeah, we needed to make my bed taller though, because I have a lot of items that I could store under my bed at school, because the bed at school can go 3 feet high and let you use the space in the room because it's a very small room. But even though I moved to a different apartment, the bed is still, even if it's only a twin, which it's going to be, it's still good to use the space under it to store things like shoes and sweaters and stuff, and like just make little boxes and put them under there. So what my dad and I did yesterday actually is we built some bed stilts, which sounds dangerous, but they're actually very sturdy. They are basically like a big box that my bed sits on, and there are stops to prevent the end of the I don't know what it's called, like the feet of the bed. There are stops to prevent them from sliding off. So like if I jump off the bed, it's not going to fall off the stilts. It's held in place really securely. And we are also going to secure the what is it called? It's just like the joints of the bed that aren't very well glued and screwed together, because apparently my parents got the bed that I use from, because apparently the bed that my parents got for me to use when I was like old enough to use a bed instead of a crib was made by someone that was handy but not up to code. So like my dad always makes sure things are up to code for some, well, not for some reason, like, you know, for very obvious reasons, but the person that they got the bed from didn't do that. So my bed was kind of falling apart, and we could see that when we were lifting it to put it on the stilts, because I'm gonna have it on the stilts while I'm here to get used to how tall it is. That way when we bring it back to the apartment in 2 weeks, I'll be used to the height, I guess. But yeah, the bed was falling apart at that point, so we said, okay, we have to reinforce this or else it's gonna like crumble on the way over to the apartment. And the other thing we're doing is, you may have noticed, I only really film on a desk, but depending on where I am, it's a different desk. And the thing about that is my new apartment did not come with a desk the way that the dorm apartment did, so I need another desk. We were considering just bringing this desk over, the desk I'm working on now, bringing this desk over to the apartment, and then I would use a table to film when I'm home in my mom's craft room. But the craft room has kind of been stalled for a little bit just because people were working and stuff, and there were a few issues that stopped us from working on them. But we are getting now into the time where we do have time to work on it and get the sewing room done. And there is a table in there, and it's ready for me to use to film if I needed to. But since this desk is staying here, we decided to build a new desk for at the apartment. And so we're doing that with the help of IKEA. We got a file cabinet type thing and some legs, and then we just cut a sheet of, I don't know what it's actually called. It's basically wood with the white finish on it, similar to how IKEA furniture is made, like what they're made of. And then we just cut a sheet of that was like 2 feet by 4 feet. And that's gonna be my desk now at the apartment. So it's like a build your own desk. But yeah, so I've been talking for a pretty long amount of time. I was going to talk about some movies, but I guess I can sum them up pretty quickly because I know y'all want to get on with the next video you want to watch, or you have things to do. But I'll just quickly go over the movies that I've seen recently. So obviously, Avengers Endgame. I talked about this in either of the videos where I had the Avengers puzzle in the background. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but that was a very good movie from my point of view as someone who likes to be entertained and see the characters that I love doing cool things and happy things. So some people might not think that it's a good movie because it either gives people what they expect or what they want, but as someone that likes to be entertained, I loved it. And then the other movie I've seen recently was Detective Pikachu, which is entirely worth watching for, I think, anyone. I like how the CGI Pokemon looked. They weren't scary, except for the one scene where they go nuts and they like hold back the main character into a train station or something. I don't exactly remember, but it was also a very entertaining movie. It also gave you what you expected, but it was very entertaining and very cute, and I love Pikachu, and now I need a Pikachu. So those are my official reviews of those two movies. I think both of them are worth watching, but if you go to see Endgame, I'm not even sure if it's still out, but if you go to see it, make sure that you go to the bathroom beforehand because it is 3 hours long, and if you time it right, you can get to the theater early, order your drinks and stuff, and then go to the bathroom right when the advertisements start or right when the trailers start. So depending on what your theater shows first, go then, and then you'll probably be fine for 3 hours. But I'm gonna stop rambling for now. I got about half of this. Well, not really half. It's like half of half, maybe like a fourth of it done. But yeah, as you can see, I haven't worked on this since last time because I was busy moving and all that. But if you want to see more of these videos, please leave me a comment and tell me, because then I can do them with more frequency. It's summertime, which means I have more time to film, so I'm not going to commit to 2 videos a week, but some weeks we'll have 2 videos. And my normal videos come out on Sunday, and the extras will come out on Wednesdays if I make them, okay? So like this video if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. You can watch more of my videos on the screen now. And if you want to leave me a comment, please do so. And tell me what you thought about those movies or anything that's going on in your life. Okay, bye.